Mic testing 1, 2, 3. Spoilers for Loki. If you haven't seen that series yet, why did you even click on this video? Just go and watch it or do something else. Yeah. So this is not the kind of video I usually make on this channel. I usually just edit. Yeah, that's all I do. I just edit. But I'm trying new things because new year, new me. Uh, Check out my vlog, and then I'm thinking about making a gaming channel, but I don't want to bore you with all of those details. Let's start with why I'm making this video. Well, the guy over Screen Crush, he kept making Kang, Loki, multiverse theory videos, so I thought why not join the bandwagon. And yeah, I'm glad Eric was hasn't gotten to that yet. Maybe once we reach Avengers 3 or 4, he'll be pumping out those videos. Hopefully not. Let's say I hate him. Yeah, so Loki. When I was watching the finale for Loki, the sixth episode, I had some questions. Well, not many, but few, which I felt some inconsistencies and how should I say plot holes with the whole Kang time travel TVA mechanism, but they're not actually plot holes. Like once I started thinking about them, I started noticing a pattern and then a whole thought process behind it. And I would like to just talk about it. So this won't be your normal MCU theory video about who's going to come in the next project, or it's not going to be that, but it'll have a footnote where I'm going to talk how season 2 of Loki would go. So let's get to the meat of the topic. And it's going to be long and winded. I basically consider myself a time travel movie fanatic. I would just watch anything which has time travel in it. So I'm going to call He Who Remains as Kang. In the finale, to Loki and Sylvie, he literally shows a paper and then says, I know everything you're going to say because you have done this before, because everything which has happened so far has been happening according to my plan. If he knew that these people are going to come that day or that time, however time works in his castle at the end of time, why didn't he greet them at the door? Or as in, yeah, it would make more sense for him to just be there outside waiting for them and then greet them properly. But he didn't. Why? And then the next question I had was, when they enter the castle, that place is a fucking mess. It's as if someone fought in there. You can see rubbles, broken pillars, and everything. After they speak with Miss Minutes, they start walking towards the statues of the lizard time gods. And you can see that there used to be 4 statues, but one of them got knocked over, and the rebels are still over there. But the thing is, that castle is made up of the same material which consists of his Tempad. He can think and then alter that kind of matter. It can even defy gravity because it literally floats when he tries to tell the story about the Kang and other Kangs and multiverse. So if he can alter those matter at a snap of his finger, why hasn't he taken care of that place yet? Like he could just remove those troubles or just make them disappear or rebuild his 4th time lizard statue. Why hasn't he done that? So those are the 3 questions I had. I also had a problem with how he reacted towards Loki and Sylvie. As in, he literally says, "I know every single thing which you're going to say because this has happened already." But he acts surprised when Loki and Sylvie enters and he says, "Oh, 2 people of the same kind, how abnormal," as if he wasn't expecting them. So, yeah, these are the questions I had before coming up with this theory. So, let's get to the theory now. So, my first assumption is there has been multiple multiversal wars.
Deal data.
But no one has bet.
Forget the bet, just deal. 10. 7. Queen.
9. Jack. 4. Deuce. 6.
This is highly improbable.
As in, Kang has been killed multiple
I
times
died?
by someone,
Again?
and then every time Kang dies, there is no one to run the TVA. And guess what happens? The timeline starts to branch, and then multiversal war starts. And then one Kang survives everything, and then puts TVA, and then stops the war, and then it happens again. And basically, every single time it happens, a Kang appears. Kang takes over TVA or creates one, and after 5 millennium or 5 million, whatever, however time works in his castle, he just gives up and then tries to look for a successor, a substitute of a kind. And yeah, that's basically what has been happening so far. Which means that Sylvie and Loki might not be the first candidates which have been considered by him. Like he could have considered Tony Stark or I don't know Chastain or anyone literally. He could have even considered Agent Coulson at one point, but after realizing that these people are not suitable, he has chosen Sylvie and Loki for now. But did he actually choose both of them? Because let's talk about that later at the end of this video. So yeah, um, yeah. Before I explain my theory further, I'm going to have a weird tangent now. I will be talking about MBTI personality types and such. So if you're someone who are going to just fill up my comment with comments like, "Oh, you believe in MBTI? That's lame. MBTI that makes no sense. It's pseudoscience." Guess what? I agree with you. It's not something I totally believe in. It's just a tool. It's just something which helps me understand mentality of certain people's. Like it helps me understand that I every single person doesn't have to think like me, and just because someone thinks in a different way than me doesn't mean they are wrong. It's just a means to an end. It helps me understand people sometimes. So yeah, if you're one of those person who don't believe in MBTI or whatever, just skip to the time here or here. I can't see the screen, so wherever.
Scram!
Get out of here, Greg!
You got nothing to worry about, Greg. We got this.
Get out of here, Greg!
Get out!
What the fuck are we doing?
I don't know. We're in way over our heads.
This is our first client.
I know.
Yeah, let's get back to the topic. Yeah, I would like to believe that the Kang is an INTJ, and if you know what I'm talking about, you would agree with me for sure, because he's someone who's logical. He's a morally gray person who can do lots of things which can hurt people, which can kill people, but as long as it makes sense to him, mathematically, psychologically, or somehow, he will just do it. He doesn't care, and he literally controls timelines and erases them whenever it deviates from his path. So I am pretty sure he is an INTJ. The thing which I like about Kang is he can erase civilizations, he can prune planets, sometimes even a whole timeline. Just he doesn't have any guilt over that, because he knows that by killing these people, he can prevent a single Kang from appearing in the timeline and then wrecking the whole place up. To prevent the war, he will do anything. It doesn't matter whether it's killing one kid or killing a whole planet full of kids. Whole planet full of orphan kids?
You've lost.
Duh.
Basically, Kang has one goal right now. He needs to replace his position, his power, and then give that to someone else who can make the tough choices. And the issue is he can't give that to another Kang because there are no other Kang. That's what he is trying to do in TVA. So when there are no other Kang, there are no one else suitable for his position, as in no other variant of him. So he has been looking for that quality in other people, and he has been tailoring that quality in certain people, such as Sylvie. He took her when she was young, and he messed up her life, and she is someone who will make the tough decisions to take out Kang. It's the same kind of mentality he wants, for the successor. Yeah, the only issue he has been facing is Kang has to explain his plan, his reason as of why this has been happening to Sylvie and why this has been happening millions of times before. And the thing is, Sylvie just doesn't care. She does not care about the multiverse. She does not care about anything. And I mean, I agree with her. I'm not saying she's wrong. If I go through everything she went through, I would probably say, fuck the multiverse. I'm just going to go through you with a sword. So yeah, that's the issue. He needs to explain the plan to Sylvie, and Sylvie is not in a mood to hear anything from Kang. And I am still looking at the script because I have no idea. Kang has copies of what's going to happen, transcripts of what's going to happen in his castle when Sylvie and Loki arrives. He literally throws a bunch of paper and then says, "Yeah, you can read them all. It contains everything you have said, everything you will say." My theory is those pages are not the exact copy of the same transcript. One page, every single page has one more line or some more dialogues more than the previous one, as in each paper is from a different timeline or a time loop. But if that makes sense, you are probably Shane Carruth. But and most people won't understand what I'm trying to say, so I'm going to explain this properly. So when in the lift, I broke my pen. In the lift, Kang dodges Sylvie's sword when she's trying to cut him, and then he just teleports behind her casually while eating an apple. Well, how does he know that? Well, he would know that if it already happened, and then if he had a record of when she would cut him up, he can change his Tempad and then escape from her swing now, as in after one whole multiversal war and establishment of TVA and then inviting Sylvie to the castle. So every single time he dies, he gains more intel. It's more similar to how Tom Cruise gains more and more data about what's happening around him every time he dies in Live, Die, Repeat or Edge of Tomorrow. So every time Kang dies, he explains more of his plan, more of what's happening, more of what needs to be done to Sylvie. And then his goal is to just explain his whole plan before he dies. So what is the threshold?
What do we do now?
I don't know. We've never gotten this far.
When Kang doesn't have any more data about what's going to happen, that's threshold. It's something which moves every single time he dies. It's literally the moment he died in the previous time loop or timeline. Yeah. And this is the first time he has explained this plan to Sylvie properly before he died. So he is alive, and the plan has been told to Sylvie and Loki, and they have to make a decision right now. He doesn't have to go through another loop, so literally he has no reason to keep data because either Sylvie takes over the position of TVA's boss, or she doesn't. Either way, it doesn't matter to this gang at this moment. So that's literally what threshold is. As in, TVA doesn't have any more data about the divergence, so they can't prevent any more divergence, as if they have been preventing divergence and nexus points only because it already happened in a previous timeline. As in, it's just accumulation of data which has been happening in every single loop before a multiversal war. Let's go to the answers, because I'm going to switch the gear up, or I'm going to kick it up another gear and then get crazy.
Cringe.
I mentioned certain questions when I started the video, and now I'm going to answer every single one of them, and then probably more than. You know how when Loki and Sylvie were talking about kicking down the door open and then just running through the castle? Well, that happened once at least in the previous time loop. That's why Kang hasn't just greeted them, because let's imagine he's just waiting in behind the door for them to open, and then Sylvie kicks open the door, and she would just swing that sword and take him out or start a fight. And that's exactly why there was troubles in front of the castle. You can see broken stairs, broken arches, broken pillars. Whenever Sylvie kicks open the door and she sees Kang, she's just going to fight. And then those were the aftermath consequences of the fight. And that's exactly why Kang just decided not to greet them at the door. And then those statues, he tried to greet them over there. And then there was multiple fights over there. There were or there will be. Grammar makes no sense. Tense make no sense when it comes to time travel. So yeah, they fought near the statues. Sylvie or Kang or Loki or someone else destroyed the fourth time lizard statue. And that's why we see him greeting them in the lift. After he greets them at the lift, he gets teleported to his office room after Sylvie just gets swinging at him. And once they reach his desk, I just love this part because he just turns around, he just shows his back to the two guys who could have killed him, and he casually makes tea. He just doesn't care. He doesn't even have to keep eye contact with them. He just does not give a fuck. So yeah, the interesting part with making the tea is he says 1, 2 sugars when he is putting the sugar cubes in there. And well, yeah, that's also something totally random, insignificant, but not insignificant for me or the Kang. Basically, he speaks that out loud so that it would be on the dialogue sheet where it contains every single thing everyone has spoken, or everyone has spoken in that room at least, as far as we know. And once the next Kang sees that sheet, he would know those people are going to be okay with 2 cubes of sugar, as in he has been keeping up with his previous Kangs. Every single second of their decision is his decision. He can't deviate from it, because once he deviates from it, he has no powers. He is just a person. If he doesn't know what's going to happen in the future, let's say he just does the most minute thing which he hasn't done in the previous timeline, even if it costs him only 1 second or less than a second, there's going to be a accumulation of these errors, these misfirings or misalignments, and then it's going to cause a big chaotic break into a multiversal war if he doesn't keep up with his previous Kang's doing. As in, yeah, it's a miserable life to live, especially if you can live forever. But he has to do that to be a Kang. And this reminds me of something very similar I have seen. Yeah, he literally has to do every single thing his previous Kang has done, every single thing which happened in the previous timeline, as far as he can control, or else he is just another person. It's basically pulling the threshold forward. Why hasn't he cleaned up the statues yet? Well, with the same logic I explained to you now, let's say, yeah, it's better if I put a number to it. Let's say 10th Kang, as in 10th reincarnation, not exactly reincarnation, but it makes sense. Reincarnation of Kang gets into a fight with Sylvie, and then Sylvie breaks the fourth timeless statue. The thing is, seconds after that, he will die. And when the next Kang comes to the castle, he will see the rebels, but he won't fix the statue because his previous Kang never had to fix the statue. As in, if you have understood what I just said, without needing any explanation, just put down an all-time always in the comment section. And yeah, when the previous Kang was there was 4 statues till he died. So he has never had to have tense no make sense. Does not make yeah, his previous Kang never had to have fixed that statue yet. So with the dialogues he received from the previous cycle, he could very well assume that there has always been only 3 statues. because he has never seen that castle before. And if the previous Kang never fixes that statue, he would never do that. And in the next cycle, nothing's going to change because none of the previous Kangs has ever fixed the rubbles or the statues. And that's how meticulous Kang could be, might be. I mean, only the creators and the writers would know whether I'm just blabbering or on the money. So, yeah, basically, the Kangs before him hasn't cleaned that place yet, cleaned those rubbles yet. So, no Kang would ever clean up that place. It's minute. It doesn't matter in the whole picture because even if we think in universe, it doesn't matter because what difference would it make if TVA worship 4 time lizards instead of 3? I'm not even sure anyone is following what I'm talking about. This there are still some more inconsistencies which can be dealt with. You see, Frieza, you're not dealing with your average theorist anymore. That's what I would like to say. Kang was surprised when he first saw Loki and Sylvie, and technically he would never be surprised because he knew that they will be there that day and at least one of them would kill him. Most likely it will be Sylvie. Yeah, why was he surprised? I actually have an answer for it and it makes sense to me at least. So he says to Sylvie and Loki, Loki is like a flea on the back of a dragon. The dragon has been on this epic quest of revenge to take out someone, and then this flea has been on its back. Here, the Sylvie is the dragon, and Loki is the flea, because Loki is there just to take out the TVA's leader, just to take more power. He's like a cat, he just wants more dominance. But Sylvie, on the other hand, she is alive only to kill him. She doesn't care about what happens afterwards to anyone. She has a bigger purpose in taking out, bigger motivation in taking out TVA's leader than Loki would ever will. So basically what has happened here is, or what has been happening there is, Sylvie is the candidate for the TVA successor. Loki is not. As in, Kang was only expecting Sylvie to be there, and then Loki has been just hanging around with her every single time. And that's why the Kang who first met Sylvie and Loki was surprised because he was expecting Sylvie, but he wasn't expecting Loki together with her. And that's exactly why he said, oh, 2 of a kind, it's abnormal, unusual. Because he was expecting 1 of a kind. Next Kang who followed him can never deviate from that. So he had to pretend that he is surprised by Loki and Sylvie, even though he knows the exact conversation he's going to have with both of them till he died in the previous time loop. To put a bow on this, to loop this all around and tie it together, the first line Sylvie says when she meets Loki is, you can guess what it could be. If you remember it, it is Ich bin du. Well, it's not. It's not. I'm just kidding with you. It's actually.
This isn't about you.
Right.
It was never about Loki. It was always about Sylvie, and they have been telling that to us from the beginning. And yeah, let's get more timey-wimey and germy-burmy here, because we got bonus theory. Oh my god. Revonna Renslayer, or Renslayer. Is that even her real name? Because who would name their kid Renslayer? Is Renslayer a common family name and surname in Iowa or wherever she is from? So yeah, Revonna Renslayer. Before she left TVA, after getting betrayed by Mobius multiple times, she says, not everyone has to have free will. Only the person who is in charge needs to be in free will, because she understands the consequences of multiversal war, of a possible multiversal war, because this Renslayer hasn't experienced one yet. Chances are, yeah, she hasn't experienced one yet. Otherwise, she would know who runs the TVA. Before she walks into the portal to escape from TVA and Mobius, she just vaguely says that she's in search of free will. And if you think about it, technically only Kang, he who remains, has free will among every single person in TVA. It's not something everyone would like or everyone would like to think about, because it's nihilistic no matter how you see it. No one in the MCU had free will yet, except the He Who Remains. Or everyone after Loki finale had free will, as in everyone after the threshold have been just doing whatever they wanted to do without getting pruned for deviating from the sacred timeline. Yeah, so everyone except Kang didn't have free will before the threshold broke out, before the timeline broke out. So Revonna's goal in season 2 of Loki is going to make sure that He Who Remains is created in a timeline, as in, yeah, there is going to be a multiversal war. It started. We have seen that in Doctor Strange 2. I wouldn't call it as a war or a battle, but it happened in Spider-Man No Way Home too. So yeah, multiversal war, incursion, destruction of planets and civilizations and timelines have been happening now. And the only way to prevent that is make sure that He Who Remains takes charge of TVA, and for that, among all this chaos, someone has to make sure that He Who Remains even exists to begin with, which is basically Revonna Renslayer has been given a scenario for Car from Miss Minutes, and she knows her goal now. She's just going to go to a timeline where He Who Remains can be created, and then she's going to just tweak the parameters and variables to make sure that he becomes who he has to become, which is basically what Doctor Strange did to win Thanos. Yeah, it's not the first time someone has messed with the casualty and determinism of the MCU, but yeah, it's happening again, and that's what basically Ramona Renslayer is going to do, which she must do in Loki season 2. That's my your basic MCU theory. That's what's going to happen in Loki season 2. And statues. Yeah, one last theory before I melt your brain. I hope it hasn't melted yet. It's not going to be something huge. So basically, we know that there has been different kind of TVA figures. There used to be 4 time lizards, and then there were 3 time lizards, and in the timeline where Loki is in now, it's just Kang. It's just a statue of Kang. The TVA just worships Kang instead of relying on some lizard monsters or gods to be afraid of. So this has happened multiple times, and whenever TVA wants to get rid of something, the most efficient way or the most laziest way for them to do is just to prune it, because for them, they prune it and then it just disintegrated. And no matter how you look at it, the things which gets pruned will be disintegrated by Alioth, or however you pronounce it. And I mean, we have seen buildings, we have even seen Avengers building whole city blocks and canteen supply of, as in used plates and spoons and cutleries from TVA just being thrown around in the end of timeline Alioth Zone. Yeah, that's another theory which I would like to talk about, because is it even Earth to begin with? Is it even a planet? I mean, who even knows? It looks like Earth because we see buildings which have been pruned, or parts of Earth which has been pruned. But if multiple planets have been pruned, is there multiple Earth in that period of end of time? It's similar to Final Space, which is a show I really, really love. Saves Final Space, or is it too late? Yeah, whatever, man. So, yeah, basically, every single time they change the statue, the Kang is just going to prune the previous statue, and I can prove it because we have seen multiple statues and hits. And the interesting bit is, there used to be a living tribunal statue in the TVA headquarters. There was a Kang who met living tribunal for fucking with the timelines and realities, and then that Kang basically somehow defeated living tribunal of a universe, or is living tribunal multiversal? Either way, he at least defeated or escaped a living tribunal, lived another day to make sure in the next time loop, or in that time loop, TVA worships a living tribunal, because that's how people can lie, because if it's completely made up, people don't believe it. Like Loki, he did not believe for an instance that he's being controlled by lizard gods. Everyone told him that that's what happening, but he never said, okay, I believe in it, because he is a kind of person who can see through bullshit, and he saw through that bullshit. And a Kang in the previous time loop knew that you had to mix some truth to your bullshit to make people buy it, and he literally made an eternal god, an entity, as the ruler of TVA, so people would believe it. Because let's say if someone told Loki that living tribunal is in charge of TVA, he would have believed it. I mean, Thor knows about eternity, so I would like to believe that Asgardians taught Loki about living tribunals and people who he should not fuck with, like Celestials. So yeah, I know that he has met a living tribunal because there is a statue of living tribunal which got pruned in the Alioth Zone. So, and bye. Oh yeah, most importantly, sacred timeline might sound as a singular timeline, but it's definitely not one, no matter how you say it. It's basically a set of timelines which obeys the parameters set by Kang. So